not designed right now to necessarily develop great leaders or to encourage more people to seek public office.
What was it like seeing yourself for the first time in full Snow White drag?
I love that description. It's perfect. Oh my God. Well, when you get to wear Sandy Powell, first of all,
Could Disney's newest remake be the biggest risk in its history ever since fans got wind of Snow White 2025? The studio's bold reimagining of a classic fairy tale. The internet has been ablaze with heated views. Some say it's set to be a box office sensation that reinvents a beloved story for the modern age. Others are sure it's an agenda-driven mess doomed to become one of Disney's most notorious flops. The truth lies somewhere in between, but one thing is certain: people can't stop talking about Snow White 2025. This story isn't just about a princess with skin as white as snow anymore. It's about an actress, Rachel Zegler, stepping into a role that might define or derail her career. It's about a writer and director who are determined to put a fresh spin on a timeless tale. And it's about millions of fans all watching closely to see if Disney can pull off the impossible, reinventing a beloved classic without losing the magic that made it an icon. The idea of bringing Snow White into the 21st century might sound natural after so many other Disney remakes, from The Jungle Book to The Little Mermaid, yet no project has received quite this level of controversy. Disney executives felt it was time to dust off their first feature-length animated film, originally released in 1937, and
The rice has to be body temperature, and if it takes too long to serve it, it's no longer body temperature. But what was interesting to me about him was he had 3 Michelin stars, and he was still trying to learn how to get better, how to be better.
Yes.
And I showed that to executives.
shape it into something that resonates with a more socially conscious audience. Enter Mark Webb, best known for directing everything from superhero blockbusters to heartfelt dramas, a figure with the skill to blend visual spectacle with character-driven storytelling. Then there's Greta Gerwig, celebrated for her sharp writing and knack for reinterpreting classic literature. At first glance, they seem like the ultimate dream team for a modernized fairy tale. But from day one, rumors arose that their collaborative vision would take Snow White down a path few people expected. Early buzz hinted at a storyline that wasn't just about a princess finding her way in the forest, but about a young woman grappling with deeply rooted social issues. For some fans, this was a welcome twist. For others, it signaled the beginning of a major rift rather than easing the audience into this new world. Disney made it clear they intended to shake things up, and with that decision, they opened the door to a wave of speculation, early criticisms, and heated debates long before filming even wrapped. Casting was always going to be the hot topic for a remake of Snow White. The original character was known for her gentle, nurturing nature, so the choice of the outspoken and vocally gifted Rachel Zegler raised many eyebrows. Zegler soared to fame with her performance in West Side Story, a role that showcased her singing prowess but also hinted at her candid personality. From the start, she made it clear that this Snow White would be different. Interviews and social media posts.
it was so fun. Oh my God, as a huge Disney fan, it was so exciting to finally get to go to D23. Yeah. I live on the East Coast, so I was never able to go, and also tickets sell out like in a flash. So it was so exciting to go, and my mom was super jealous because my mom is the reason I'm a Disney fan.
Showed how she planned to infuse the character with a sense of power, autonomy, and a worldview more reflective of 2022's activism. Some people praised her confidence, celebrating that Disney was finally embracing a heroine who didn't fit the mold of the classic damsel in distress. Others, however, found her comments abrasive, especially when she took aim at critics for not understanding women before the trailer even dropped. Zegler became a lightning rod for controversy. She publicly addressed the fact that fans might dislike a drastically altered storyline, defending her creative choices and throwing shade at toxic men in the process. With every statement, the debate seemed to intensify. Was she bravely standing up for a modern heroine or alienating longtime Disney loyalists who adored the sweetness of the original? As online chatter exploded, curiosity about Snow White 2025 only grew. If you've heard the chatter, you know it's not just the casting that has people riled up. Disney's reinterpretation of the core plot has raised even more questions. Rumors say the princess is no longer called Snow White due to her appearance, but rather for surviving a perilous snowstorm for fans who cherished the Brothers Grimm tale and Disney's animated favorite. That shift alone already feels like a seismic jolt. But it doesn't stop there. Reports from alleged test screenings paint a picture of a story centered on real-world themes such as societal reform and personal identity, instead of a young woman fleeing an evil queen and stumbling upon 7 dwarfs. The new iteration might see her championing a grand cause to save society. Gone is the sweet, naive princess who cleans the
right now to necessarily develop great leaders or to encourage more people to seek public office. It just is far more difficult. I've never been in it, but from what I observe, it's far more difficult to run for office today than ever before.
And sings with forest creatures. In her place stands a defiant, occasionally frustrated figure determined to lead a revolution that may or may not involve the dwarfs themselves. According to leaks, they might barely resemble their beloved 1937 counterparts. Some sources say they've been replaced by a diverse crew of magical beings, partly to avoid certain stereotypes and partly to modernize the story scope. Whether this is a savvy update or a blatant goal push depends on who you ask. Disney has stayed tight-lipped, only fueling speculation. Could the studio be waiting for the right time to share its full reinterpretation? Or realizing the backlash may be too much? Then came the so-called special look, a trailer-like promo that caused pandemonium across social media. When a creator has pitched you a great story and you've given them the ability to go out and tell that story, you've given them the means, the money, the tools, and the place to tell that story. That story is viewers dissected every scene, from Zegler's short Lord Farquaad-style haircut to the fleeting hints of the film's darker tone. Many fans quickly pointed out the actress's abrupt shifts in emotion, describing her performance as
when a creator has pitched you a great story and you've given them the ability to go out and tell that story, you've given them the resources, the money, the tools, the place to tell that story. That story
disjointed based on snippets that showed her jumping from anger to delight. Rachel Zegler herself seemed to take the uproar personally. She went into rants both online and in interviews, calling out families who claimed to be offended by Disney's direction. She argued that critics, particularly male audiences, had no place to judge her work if they hadn't seen the full movie. Such remarks only added fuel to the fire, prompting even some who were on the fence to view her position as antagonistic. Social media campaigns to boycott the film picked up steam, with viewers blaming Disney of destroying childhood memories and pandering to activism. Others supported the actress, arguing that a more outspoken version of Snow White might be a breath of fresh air in a cinematic landscape full of predictable reboots. Regardless of which side you took, the conversation was hard to ignore. Is Greta Gerwig, the acclaimed writer who's proven her talent for reimagining classics, her take on Little Women drew praise for injecting modern feminist energy into a Civil War-era story. Now, the spotlight is on her for Snow White, and many are eager to see how she balances social...
That would be my preference as well.
Why your preference?
Well, look, I'm going to be 72 years old tomorrow. I've put in almost 50 years. There are other things in life that I'd like to do. I also am confident that the board will be able to identify enable success.
Commentary with Disney's brand of family entertainment. Gerwig's past statements hint at a fierce commitment to weaving real-world problems into her writing. She's also tackling the Chronicles of Narnia in future projects, leading fans to wonder if we're entering a Gerwig-dominated wave of fantasy adaptations that reflect a clearly modern set of values. Rachel Zegler has publicly praised Gerwig as a visionary, crediting her for giving the actress input into how Snow White's anger, pride, and hope manifest on screen. Critics, meanwhile, question whether these changes betray the heart of the original. Could a classic be updated without losing its heart? Is a question echoing across countless social platforms. Some fear the updated plot will overshadow the whimsical magic that defined Walt Disney's first animated film. Others believe Gerwig's involvement will save the project, elevating Snow White into a more thought-provoking narrative that connects in a fresh contemporary context. Insider chatter says the stakes are higher than ever for Disney. Multiple test screenings reportedly ended in confusion, with audiences confused by Zegler's portrayal. Some walked away describing the film as an odd blend of musical activism and scattered fairy tale elements that never quite gelled together well. Test screenings are meant to be secret leaks. Insider tips have filled forums.
Large Western companies and brands, but we bring to China a type of ideology, admittedly a relatively benign one as it relates to politics in China, but still a Western ideology. And in many ways, that had value to them. Was making a decision to make a change at the CEO level at Disney, and that they might ask me to step back.
And you say to her?
And I said to Willow, I'm getting this call. It's possible that I could get asked back.
Zegler's conviction that a more assertive, society-focused princess is exactly what today's audience needs, or will it confirm the worst fears of those who think a beloved classic was hijacked by modern politics? Disney is banking on the idea that curiosity alone will fill theater seats even if the naysayers claim they're done with the studio for good. The real story may not simply be about one iconic princess, but rather about the delicate balance between honoring tradition and embracing change. Every time a classic gets reworked, we see the same fundamental battle. Do we move forward and risk upsetting the old guard, or play it safe and risk stagnation? Snow White 2025 is perhaps the purest example of that conflict, and no matter how it ends, it's sure to leave us pondering what future remakes will look like. One thing is for sure, we're witnessing a major turning.
She was like, Jacqueline, if they play Getaway Car or Maroon, she's on crisis watch. And not only did she play Getaway Car, she also played Maroon. I was having a mental breakdown in the audience at MetLife Stadium.
Point in Disney's strategy, where the stakes feel higher and the fan reactions are more intense than ever. Will this be the moment Disney steps away from radical reinterpretations, or will it double down on trying to reshape Tim-honored tales? The answer might just reshape the next chapter in the Magic Kingdom's history, and it's a story still waiting to be told.